and welcome to another First Play 10 Questions, where we schmooze the hottest industry insiders into unveiling their secrets. This week we're using our devilish charms on Erin Daly, lead multiplayer designer on Homefront. You have such beautiful grey eyes, Erin. Talk to us.
Sure, so one of the games I played in the past that had a really big influence on me was actually the first Quake game. As a first-person shooter designer, it really crystallized the level of pace and intensity that players are really after in this, the kind of modern first-person shooter. It had this really intense, fast-paced gameplay, and it also had an interesting dynamic where it wasn't actually balanced with the weapons. The rocket launcher was obviously the dominant weapon. You're always going after the rocket launcher, but that, in a sense, created a balance in and of itself. So the next level of technology that I'd really love to see is the whole virtual reality implementation that we were promised about 15 years ago and never really came to pass. We're playing these 3D games. They're really responsive. There's a lot of interaction, but we're still playing them on a 2D screen. So it's time to really bring that into the third dimension and give the players that full spatial awareness. We're definitely not quite there yet, but I feel like it'll happen eventually. So the high point in my career, I think, has actually been working on this product, Homefront. We've had a lot of challenges bringing this multiplayer game to where it's at, but we're trying to compete at the highest levels of the industry, against this really tough competition. And we feel like we have something really unique and special, and we're really proud of it. I think the low point in my career was actually the very first game I worked on, which got canceled, unfortunately, which is all too common in the game industry. It was a very strange game. It was a third-person action game that was actually set inside the internet. But on top of that, the systems we were running with it really just weren't up to par and just couldn't deliver the kind of visuals that the game required. So it failed on several counts, and that was kind of disappointing. But it was a great learning experience, as a junior level designer, to see just the game go through those issues and how they were tackled. I think the longest shift was probably about 18 hours, and then, maybe 7 days straight. But that's really not much, compared to what some people have done in the game industry. The good news is that these hours are starting to slow down in terms of the overall industry. The level of, overtime is definitely started to be reined in, and that's a good thing for the industry. As it matures, it really needs to start taking itself seriously and not, not asking people to, sacrifice their families and their lives for these games. As a developer, both scores and sales are both really important to us. We're looking for that critical feedback. We're looking for that critical reception. We want to see how players, what they think about the game, what they liked and didn't like. It's really important. But we're also really important. It's also really important to us to have a success financially. I think one golden rule of game design that I like to live by is actually a quote from that airplane designer, Saint Antoine de Exupéry, I think it was, which is that you have achieved perfection in design not when there's nothing more to add, but when there's nothing more to remove. Really, it's not about, there's a single name that we would like to go after. What we're looking for is people who, fit well with the team and want to make the kind of games that we want to make. So it's not really about trying to go after, some big name talent. It's about how do we grow the talent internally, and how do we, bring people in that have similar, feelings and perspectives as we do, and are really excited to make these kind of multiplayer, large-scale games. Probably nepotism. There's really a lot of nepotism in the game industry. In some ways that's a bad thing, but in some ways it's a good thing because it lets people, get access to opportunities that they might not already have. So obviously QA is a great starting point if that's, if you're looking to get into design or production. If you're looking for programming or art, I would obviously recommend that you, go and get a CS degree or go and get an art degree. In game design, obviously, if you're looking to get into that, I would definitely recommend the modding scene. It's just a great way to learn. There's so many tools out there, so many ways where you can show your stuff. it's probably one of those things that is going to take until people have grown up with games themselves before they start to fully accept them as an adult. There's certainly still a lot of work we need to do, though, to explore the emotional range that games can deliver. You know, right now games do a great job of delivering fear, excitement, rage, frustration, things like that. But they're really not doing a great job of delivering all those other types of emotions that you get from other media. Nostalgia, sadness. There's so many different things you get from, great novels, great movies, great music even, that games really haven't scratched the surface on. So there's a lot of growing up as an industry we still need to do, and there's still a lot of growing up on the player's side too that will help generate acceptance for games.
Thanks for the answers, Erin. And we weren't joking about the eyes either. Like highly polished grey agate in a king's crown. Join us in the future for another, ideally less creepy 10 questions.